welcome back to another episode of Operation Evil. This is episode number 78, and we're going to call it the Zodiac. And Rachel set up an awesome guest for us today. Take it away.
So we have Rob from the Order 42 show. Rob is a guy, jack of all trades, in the production thing there. He worked on the movie, you all remember Billy from the Game Chasers. So he worked on the movie Adventures in Game Chasing. He was like the Rob, what was your actual title? I know it was something with the script supervisor.
Yeah, script supervisor is what I was, yeah.
So Rob has his own YouTube channel though, and he reviews movies, TV shows, and he does a lot of lives. Like recently he was playing the new Zelda game and then like Diablo. And Rob, do you want to tell more about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just basically I started my YouTube channel during the pandemic because I was bored and I wanted to stay busy. I'd quit my job to do this movie with Billy and Jay because I've known Billy and Jay for 30 years, however long it's been. It's been a long time that I've known those guys. So yeah, I just started that because I wanted something to do, and movies is always something that's been kind of a love of mine, but I didn't want to just limit it to movies because I love TV shows, or streaming shows. I love my books. I love comics. I love all the stuff. So it's basically Order 42 is just where I talk about all the things. So it's fun.
Oh, I love how you say all the things because guess who else says all the things?
Who?
Me. And Order 42 has such like a Star Wars feel, and I love it.
If you like go to his YouTube page, he has this big long story, and then he's like, "What is it?" It's like, "Just kidding" or whatever. Made all that.
Yeah, I just made that up. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm putting the link to your YouTube channel on our show notes so people can find you, and the Game Chasers movie you worked on. I will also put the link. The Amazon link to that if you want to check that out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just go join some lives or whatever.
He's a super professional. I mean, just zooming with him, he's like a excellent quality everything. I'm really jealous.
Oh, wait, one more thing. We met at Retropalooza, and I honestly didn't know Rob at all.
Yeah,
and we just started talking, and it's like, oh my God, this guy is so freaking awesome.
Yeah, but she doesn't realize that he's gonna like me better, and that's just the way it's gonna be.
Yeah, so we have a thing where I told Rob that he will not like her better,
and he will. I'm sorry. She's giving me
so much
the
pressure
eye
on me over here.
She's giving me the stink eye, everyone.
Oh my God, Rob, you should have saw me. Like, I was such an idiot when Billy came on. Not that I think it's easier with you because we had already talked. So I don't want you to think I wouldn't fangirl over you. Okay.
She's been fangirling since she's come back from the show.
Some diarrhea. Like, I'm so nervous.
I'm just a guy. That's it.
That's what Billy said. I'm like, he's like, oh, come on now. I don't know why I do that. I don't know. I think it's just because
it's so cute.
I think because I just admire them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
But you're welcome.
She really does.
I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude doing the thing. That's it.
All the things.
All the things.
So today, we're going to talk about Zodiac, the Zodiac killer. And we're also it's going to be like a little combo mixture here where we talk about the crimes and then we talk about theories and then we talk about the movie, the Zodiac, the one with Mark. Is it Ruffalo? Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., directed by David Fincher. Yeah, I love this movie, and you guys are gonna definitely have to just stop me because I might just gush for an hour. So
we'll let you.
I mean, it has great actors in there.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with it.
And this was before Robert Downey Jr. was Iron Man, correct?
Yes.
Well, and we're talking about the Hawk too.
The Hawk.
Mark was the Hawk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I loved him in that movie. It's got Reese Witherspoon in it, and she's like dying, and he's like a ghost or something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She's the ghost.
Yeah, but that wasn't even his best feature. No,
but he was so cute in that.
You need to watch. she doesn't get into the Marvel stuff, okay? And that's where she's missing out because Marvel, just like Star Wars, every movie goes into the next. It is a story. All the pieces will fit together and it's amazing. And he does such a good job as the Hawk. And then, of course, Iron Man's my favorite, but I'm getting way off topic. So go ahead.
All right. So
Zodiac.
Zodiac.
We're going to talk about our Zodiac signs. No, it's just
Which really, that's where he got the name, whatever. So, like, they say, like, according to the newspaper, that the Zodiac took credit for 37 murders. But really, there was only, like, 4 to 5 that was, like, confirmed that it was him, like, evidential-wise. I'm going to kind of jump all over the place here. So, look at my notes. We're warning, you're going to hear papers, like, back in the day.
That's fine.
So, let's start with the incidents, okay? So,
oh God, you're shuffling papers.
Yeah.
Don't get lost.
You know what she does to me too? She's like, I'm like, cut that shit out, and she's like, okay, and then she takes it in.
Mm-hmm.
She's mean. Okay, so the victims, we've got David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen. David was like 17 and Betty Lou was 16. They were both shot and killed. The Vallejo area, that was in December of I think like 69. It was like the late 60s when this was happening, like 68, 69, I believe. And
yeah, I think the first ones were in the late 60s and then
yeah. Like they speculated it carried into the 70s, but again, not true, like actual evidence.
Right.
The July 5th, then there was Darlene Farron. She was 22, and Michael Maggio. See, Rob can help us with the name pronunciation.
Hell yeah, because we always butcher shit like that.
Always. Now, Michael, he lived in that was the Vallejo area too. Now, the ones that I always hear about and that sticks with me in the movie is the couple that were stabbed at the lake.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Yeah. 22-year-old Cecilia Ann Shepard was stabbed 25 times. And now in the movie, I don't know if this is true. Maybe you can answer, Rob. In the movie, they were portrayed as boyfriend, girlfriend. It was insinuated.
Yeah.
But they were actually just friends.
Correct.
Okay. So, Brian Hartnell, 21, he survived. And Nyoka was telling me, which I didn't know this, that he at some point moved out of the area, the Bay Area.
Well, I don't know. In the movie, we'll just have to talk because I don't know if it's factual because it's in the movie.
I think he did leave the area and then he came back from time to time when they wanted to ask him questions or whatever, he'd fly in or whatever. But I mean, I don't know his whereabouts and his, for sure. But I was actually reading, I probably should have wrote the website down, but it was basically the official Zodiac.
I know what you're talking about. I saw that.
Yeah. And it's the website is amazing and it just compiles a bunch of different, like a timelines and then all the different suspects and all that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed, going through that briefly. I didn't, I didn't read the whole thing, but it was, I don't know about Brian if he moved out of the area or not, but yeah, they definitely were not a thing.
Okay. And he was like the one that could identify the Zodiac.
Yeah, he
did, right?
There was like right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hood.
He had the Zodiac had the hood on at that point.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was a good description from someone, and then I think a better one came later on somewhere along the way.
Oh, okay.
It's just, that's the thing with the hood. You talk about the hood is that, you know how they do like which I think this was before the profiling. I think the profiling came about like in the late 70s in the FBI. Maybe. I'm guessing there. We kind of covered this, so I think. But anyhow, like they kind of did a profile of the Zodiac. And they said that like they believe he had really bad eyesight because he wore glasses under his hood. So that's one of the things that Brian that I read that he reported that the person had glasses on under the hood. I mean, because like the glasses could fall off stupid and then they go in blood. You know what I mean? So he
Yep.
must have been like, couldn't see. So there was like a gap though for a time period. And then like the people he killed, it changed. Like in 69, I think it was, he killed the taxi driver. Do you remember hearing about the taxi driver?
Yeah, so you went from couples to a taxi driver, which is weird.
Yeah, like it was like young couples. The one at the lake was like during the day. I think the first couple was at night. This was at night. Actually, it was 1970. And this is where we meet Dave Toschi, Inspector Dave Toschi, which is featured in the movie.
Wait, which one was he in the movie?
Mark
It's Mark
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So him and his partner, Bill Armstrong. And what's weird is I could not find a lot of stuff about Bill Armstrong. Like what's happened to him? Like, where is he today? But so this taxi driver was he shot or stabbed?
He was shot.
Shot.
Yeah.
So they show up to the scene and it's like this gruesome scene. And along some of the way, like somebody passed the Zodiac killer. So let me back up because I'm getting all like, what?
Yeah, one of the police.
Yeah. So there was a call that came into dispatch and it was said that it was a black male. So the police that are active or what have you are looking for a black male. Well, it got changed. And in that change, they drove right past the Zodiac or whatever, or walked past him or something.
Well, past someone who matched the description that they had of the Zodiac killer for prior. Yeah. But still.
In the vicinity.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to go over to like some of the things, like they had like people like the handwriting experts come in, every single fingerprint that they could find, they DNA, they tested, nothing matched. It was said that, is it Toschi? Is that how you say it?
I think they say, what's weird is, I was reading this thing about all kind of the behind the scenes stuff and that George Lucas, Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
He loved, he was really, really taken with the Zodiac. He was, just almost obsessed about it and was really into the investigation. And that he actually named Toschi Station in Star Wars on Tatooine in the first Star Wars movie after Dave Toschi.
Learn something new.
That's amazing.
Learn something new.
But in the movie, it's pronounced Toschi. So I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't know if that's BS or not, but all I know is I read it and I was like, that's interesting because I always heard it was Toschi, not Toschi.
Maybe,
but it's definitely Toschi Station in Star Wars. But anyway,
maybe it's like is George Lucas like on the East Coast?
No, he's West Coast. He grew up in the San Francisco area.
Because I was just thinking, maybe how words get like mixed up or whatever. But interesting.
I don't know. Like I said,
that's a fun note though.
But who knows?
So he was like, he did all that he could to solve this case. That's what it, and you can tell that it in the movie, like it comes through.
I mean, let's face it, they did not preserve crime scenes back then. They didn't know to collect all this evidence for later. Yeah. They just, everything was done different.
Yeah. Learning. So this is what they knew about the Zodiac. Okay. From the descriptions that was given, they believed he had a connection to the military because he always had I don't want to say always, but he had a crew cut. His pants, the description was that his pants were pleated, like in the military. Like they said that at the time, it was not something that was in fashion for men to wear their pants like that. His knowledge of the cryptography. I can't say it.
Cryptography?
Yes, that. The ciphers.
Yes.
And, the fact that there were several murders in the Vallejo area. So Toschi believes he was connected with the Navy. There was also someone reported that the Zodiac was wearing like a Navy style windbreaker. So that's where the Navy thing came from. And he was like really intelligent too. And the fact that like his message, like, so on one of the cars, he left a message. Do you remember seeing that? Like it was like a circle and there was a nautical sign that was used, which is also used by weathermen and Navymen.
Okay.
It was like the date of the murder, I think, is what he left, and the initials, and then Vallejo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah.
anyway,
No,
maybe
go ahead.
getting ahead of ourselves here. But
So they also believe that he was a high school graduate. He had a giant ego, and that he was lonely and had a menial job. Now, the handwriting expert, I don't know how they could get this from a handwriting sample, but he said that the Zodiac was impotent and afraid of women.
They have this thing that they do for analyzing stuff, but I feel like I write different depending on my mood. I wonder if other people feel that way.
Yeah, or
absolutely,
if you're in a rush or what have you.
But there has to be something how you're writing regardless that, because don't they say if you write small, you're like this. If you write big and bubbly, you're like that. If you're whatever, there's just different personality traits on how you write.
Well, and I guess too, because like in the murder, there was no sexual assaults. It was just like a thrill kill. So maybe that played into that too. Now, he believed that the handwriting expert believed that the key to solving the case lies in his ego and somewhat distinctive lettering style, which is kind of what you were saying, not in his coded messages. And then we can go into the coded messages that were in the newspapers. But first, there was a theory of like homicidal psychosis that was printed in one of the newspapers. And I thought it was really interesting. So the reasons why they think that it could have been a psychosis is because of the time intervals. Like there was a half a year between murders 1 and 2, less than 3 months between the second and third murders, 2 weeks until the fourth, and 1 week has passed. Like it was a week since like the most like there was a week in between the fourth murder and like when the cab driver got
I
killed.
don't see it that way.
Like
he got more confident.
Like more brave.
Yeah. The more he did it, the easier it was.
And also we were talking about the weapons too, like the different weapons that he used.
Yeah, why did he use different weapons for everything? It just doesn't make sense.
All 5 slayings were a different weapon. He used that he claimed credit for. He used a .22 caliber twice.
Which makes me think mob, but then he changes.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was the one that they said was a rare type of gun.
In the movie, it looked like there was like a silencer on that gun too.
Yeah.
Was that the one at the car, like at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like Hitman style, but go on.
Well, is a 9mm handgun, is that smaller than a pistol?
No, a 22 is small. Like that's like the bullet. If somebody shot you in the head, it's going to ricochet in your head and stay in your head for a while. And a 9mm won't. It will go through.
So would you have to be more at close range with the 22?
He was a good shot, is what it is.
So that could be why they're saying military too.
Maybe.
And then the knife. He used a knife.
That seems like a passion thing because that's intimate. And to stab somebody that many times, I don't know. It's all weird. Okay.
Well, it's strange too because that one's during the day.
Yes.
Right. There's this night.
And he ties them up first, then starts stabbing them.
Yeah.
So it
feels personal and rage. Like
and the way that I think that's one of the. I mean, of course, the letters to the examiner and all that stuff, all the ciphers and all that stuff. That's interesting, but the fact that his MO keeps changing, that's what made it so weird.
Yeah,
it's like he's not following any sort of pattern. I mean, they even say that. Mark Ruffalo goes, or Dave Toschi, he goes, he's breaking the pattern because he's just out to be a star is what he wanted more than anything.
He was a
that's
huge
why.
narcissist for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't that when they talked about it could be a possibility of a copycat or like two guys together?
See, that's the thing. I think there could have been more than one person, and that's why the handwriting was always a problem. They always kept saying, like, I mean, again, getting ahead of it, but Arthur Lee Allen,
Yeah.
his handwriting didn't match.
Well,
supposedly.
and he was the ambidextrous thing where you can use both hands.
Right. Yeah. Ambidextrous. Yeah.
Yes.
That.
You made a good point. It could have been multiple people because it was different every time. And that is weird.
And it was almost like, hey, we're gonna mess with everybody. Basically, we're gonna mess with the police departments. We're gonna mess with everything. We're gonna instill fear in people and all that kind of stuff. It could have just been a couple of guys, a group of guys. Even it could have been. I mean, who knows?
And what about if it was a police officer that's purposely trying to throw off people? You'll never know.
It is, and that's the most frustrating thing. Right?
Yeah.
But
anyway,
well, and that's the thing about
it's so hard not to.
The letters to the examiner is that it was like taunting, and that was one of the issues that they touched on too. Was the taunting for the police, like, "Oh, you can't find me. You'll never find me," or like like basically like you suck at your job. Is kind of what he said in such a way too. And then the threats, like the fake threats, like the school children on the like bomb the school bus, and the papers
pick them off as they're what did he say? Bouncing off the
kitties as they come off the bus or something.
Yeah.
And what's messed up is that they said that like off-duty bus drivers, the whole like California Highway Patrol, all the police officers, like they took this serious, and
which they should have.
Yeah, they did what they had to do. So
this guy was unpredictable.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, we had already talked about the victims, but the psychosis thing, he he touches on the difference, like how he killed them, the different times of the day and all that. That Toshi though, he had like 3,000 leads. They said that there was like a filing cabinet. I read that it was like 5 filing cabinets full of just all this paper, alphabetized, like 1,000 things.
Sorry, I was like, I have the book. I could have.
Oh, I thought you were looking for a ghost or something.
No, I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not Billy. Okay, I'm not gonna blame everything on ghosts. But anyway, I actually have the book somewhere, and I just don't know where it is. That's what I was looking for. I thought it was down there. It's not. I don't know where it is. But
do you remember anything about the bullets too? Like the different, like they had casings, right, for the evidence and stuff.
Unless if it was a revolver, it would have casings.
Yeah. See, I don't remember anything specifically about that.
I don't remember hearing about a revolver, right?
Because
that's why a revolver would be my weapon of choice.
You know so much about guns. I love it. What's interesting about this too is that, like, which we were kind of talking, is like all the different people that they think that is the Zodiac.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I was telling Naoka about it. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a documentary about this guy that thought that his father was the Zodiac.
Right.
Earl Van Best Jr. And I mean, a lot of the stuff he said makes sense until the end when they're like, nope. It's like a checklist. It can't be this. Yeah. It can't be this. Like it convinces you that it could really be him.
Well, they also thought that it was like B2K or whatever his gross name is. The one that named himself.
BTK Killer.
Yeah.
He makes me sick.
He is disgusting. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, really? He's that guy.
A loser.
Dennis Rader. He like bound women and tortured them. He was a security person. It was like 10, 20 years before he actually got caught.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How do I not know about, I don't know.
He's not that interesting, really.
I try to do research on him to like cover him.
It's painful.
Yeah. I wanted to throw up.
We did cover him though. Didn't we?
I don't think we did.
I thought we did.
He was a big guy. Ew.
Yeah.
The only other thing I kind of wanted to touch on was that with the Zodiac using the astrological symbol.
Like for his signature?
Yeah.
Or you can say it was a target.
Or it's the logo of the watch that he was wearing when Dave Toschi was interviewing him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that points, and that's the thing that I think is the most frustrating, is that you feel like you're really close in the movie. You feel like they're really close, and they just never quite get there.
Yeah.
And then, I can't remember the name of the handwriting expert that the police used, but he actually cleared Arthur Lee Allen on it, based on that handwriting. And then later on, after he retired, supposedly said, you cannot disqualify people because of handwriting.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's all this weird, stuff. And it's a lot of evidence that seemed really, really interesting, and especially there's that great scene in the movie where, Jake Gyllenhaal basically goes over to Dave Toschi's house after, he's been taken off the case basically. And Jake Gyllenhaal goes up there and he's like, it's Arthur Lee Allen. And he opens up the door and he starts going through it. And he goes, let's go to the coffee shop. And they sit down and Jake Gyllenhaal just breaks everything down. And then he's sitting there and he's talking about how the first victim, the first female victim that worked at a coffee shop that was like a block away from where Arthur Lee Allen was living at the time. So it's like he knew her, and it's like,
yes.
And then just the fact that, he contacted Melvin Belli, right? The talk show host guy.
Yeah.
Contacted him, sent him a piece of the material from when he supposedly, allegedly, whatever you want to say, when the cab driver was killed, sent a piece of the fabric, and he called him and said that it's my birthday. It was December 18th, which is Arthur Lee Allen's birthday. And it's like, oh my God, and it's like, you're so close.
Yes.
So, but he kept getting cleared for whatever reason. And I just,
circumstantial.
Yeah. I just don't understand, and then, him and what's his name? John Carroll Lynch is who plays Arthur Lee Allen in the movie. He is so,
he's so scary, but
he's always like, every time I've seen him, he's been like just a normal guy.
Yeah.
And he plays this guy so creepy. And they're sitting there and he's talking and he says, oh, and by the way, those bloody knives in the back of my car, that's because I killed a chicken. And you're like, what is going on? This guy's giving everything away, wearing a watch with the Zodiac symbol on it.
Yeah.
The brand name Zodiac. Just everything is pointing to this guy. And they just could never get there. I just don't.
Yeah. It's like, how?
Yeah. I mean, Toschi, he worked on the case, I think, until like 1987 or something, like by himself for a majority of the time. And I don't know if you know this, Rob, but I was telling Ioka earlier, I saw an article where he was talking about that he watched the movie The Zodiac and he was like, he liked it. But he said it made him mad after the fact, like it brought up, all this stuff that he was, he never was able to solve it.
Yeah.
But how cool is that he watched it and he liked it?
Yeah,
that is good.
The movie is, that movie is just genius. The way that it's put together, the way that, we're talking about the editing, when it's showing the passage of time, showing that building being built, and the music always puts you in that time and place. It's David Fincher. To me, it's David Fincher's best movie, and I'm a big David Fincher fan. Alien 3 and Fight Club and all these movies that he's done.
Yeah.
And Zodiac to me is his masterpiece. It is my favorite Fincher movie by far, but it's everything. The script was like 200 pages or something like that, which is, this is something. Okay. So script supervisor, right?
Yes.
I did some of this. So 200 pages means roughly a minute. Like every page of a script is typically a minute of screen time. So that would be a 3 hour and 20 minute movie. Movie ended up being around 2.5 hours.
I know it
And
was long.
Fincher supposedly, and again, I don't know a lot of this stuff, you get secondhand and you don't know if it's true or not. But one of the things that I read was that Fincher told them to just read the lines quicker. So
Oh my gosh.
compress the script a little bit, compress the time.
Don't take anything out, just read fast.
But it's that movie, the script is beautiful. I love that. I just love everything about that movie. There's nothing I would change about it.
Yeah, I did read though that Paul
Avery?
Paul Avery and the cartoonist weren't really friends in real life.
Right.
But I like that they made them friends in the movie because
Yeah.
I love that part when Paul Avery gets the cloth.
Oh,
Or like there's a Halloween card and he's like, oh, like it's just his reaction to the cloth.
It's
a bloody cloth.
Yeah, it is. So there's that line is so good. I think he says, I'm gonna say a curse word here, okay? And he says, holy fucking crap. And it just cracks me up every time because it's like nobody says that. It's so funny. But Downey Jr. is so amazing in that role. But yeah, Paul Avery wasn't actually like sort of ostracized from, there's a lot of it that wasn't completely true.
Yeah.
His character was definitely blown up into, a kind of a crazy proportion, but you're telling a story and that kind of stuff. It makes me wonder though, how like Paul Avery's actual family felt about this portrayal of him.
Because he wasn't at all a drunk, right? I don't think.
I mean, who knows? But I know that he continued to work after, after all this Zodiac stuff kind of.
Is the cartoonist thing real?
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cartoonist is the one that wrote the book.
Oh,
Zodiac
okay. Okay.
Yeah, which I read.
Gyllenhaal guy. Yeah.
Ray Smith.
Yeah, we were talking about his character before we started recording. And I was saying that, I don't know, he just seems like his character anyway in the movie, like he would be on the spectrum because he was just so focused on solving the puzzle. He was really good at it. And he was like, I love puzzles. And the way that he was like connecting the dots was just something that not everybody could do. And then he was just very talented, kind of socially awkward a little bit, a little quirky. He was fantastic.
That part though, when he sees Tashi coming out of the movie theater and he's like, you're going to catch him. Like, I could so relate to that. It's like you want to say something, but you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff about that whole part. Cause what's cool is I never realized that Dirty Harry was based off of, or I guess the serial killer in Dirty Harry is based off of the Zodiac killer.
Oh.
And then Bullet, the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen, is based off of Dave Toschi. Dave Toschi actually was like a consultant for that movie, and even wore like Steve McQueen wore his gun like Dave Toschi did, which is why in the movie Paul Avery or Downey Jr. calls him Bullet a couple of times because of that.
That's funny.
Because Dave Toschi was like a superstar, and he was
his bow tie.
Yeah, it's just, I love everything about that movie. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is one of those where you blink and you miss it. Is they're sitting there kind of on a couple of benches at night, and he's talking about Jake Gyllenhaal is talking about how what's her name, Farron, the second female victim.
Let me see.
I can't remember her name.
Anyway, it's Mike Mageau, and I think her name is Farron. I could be wrong.
We can go with that. Yeah.
But anyway,
Rachel's like, I got my notes
You're
right here.
Darlene Farron.
Darlene Farron. Okay. So apparently Darlene had moved into the area and was having and I could be getting the minute details wrong, but the point is, I love the scene when he's kind of asking Dave Toschi about it and saying that, she had this thing where she was throwing a painting party, and Dave Toschi says, what's a painting party? And he goes, people come over and help you paint, and it's a party. And Dave Toschi goes, that's a terrible party.
I remember this.
the way that whole it's so delivered, and it's just got these little bits of humor and levity. It's, to me, again, that's the script that's just genius. And then come to find out, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't want to film that night because he had the flu, and apparently they had to film that night because it was the only time that they had that location set. So it was like, if we don't record tonight, we don't have this location anymore. So it was just like that. Those kinds of details are just fun to read about, and I love that stuff. The minutia of movie making is something that I've always been into. So I'm kind of a dork about it. So.
Well, and I think when you see the pictures of the real Dave, I swear I say his name wrong every time. Toshi.
Yeah, it's Toshi or Toski. The movie says Toski, and then who knows?
So every time I see pictures of him now, though, all I see is Mark Ruffalo.
Yep. And I was never a big fan of, at that point, I was not that big of a fan of Mark Ruffalo either. So it was like that movie made me a fan of Mark Ruffalo and Jake Gyllenhaal. And then, of course, you've got Robert Downey Jr. in there, too.
Yeah.
They've all been in Marvel movies now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird to see that, It's like, so you got the Hulk talking with Mysterio. And,
that's right. Oh my God. I forgot about Mysterio.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, and of course, Iron Man's there. Yeah. It's crazy. Right. It's crazy stuff.
That is. That's wild. It's such a good movie. You guys really need to watch it. The part, I don't know. So the girl and the guy that was like parked at night that got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Baron and Majot.
Yeah. So it almost seemed like the girl knew who was in that car, didn't it?
Yeah,
in the movie.
Weird how.
And it made it sound like, was she married? Or at least in the movie, she was married and meeting up with this other guy. And then it made it sound like her husband, or maybe he had somebody
like crazy ex-boyfriend or something.
Well, that was the whole thing. That conversation of Gray Smith and Toski, on the benches there, is he's talking about how Darlene Ferrin had sort of a weird marriage, and so she kept having like guy friends over, and that Arthur Lee Allen was at that party, but she called him Lee. And that's where there's a person, I can't remember her name, but she's in jail. And I'm just talking about the movie now.
Yeah, we're on the movie now. Yes.
Yeah. But Gray Smith, Jake Gyllenhaal, goes to this prison to meet with her because she was an old friend of Darlene's. And she basically says that, it was a short name. Whatever the name was, it was a short name. I can't remember the name. And then she goes, Lee. It's Lee. And then that's what makes Jake, oh my God, it's Lee. Are they Lee? And that's when he puts together that he seems to have at least the first couple of sets of murders. Mm-hmm. He knew who those people were, or knew of them. And if he was at that party, and Darlene, again, at the beginning of the movie, she's kind of freaking out because she thinks she knows who it is.
Right.
It could be that car, his Lee's car. I mean, there's so much stuff where, especially when you're watching that movie and you go, okay, how much of that do they actually know? Like, yeah. But Mike Majot, the guy that was wearing, multiple layers of clothing at the beginning, because he was a small kid, mm-hmm. he survived. And so he must have known what that car was, and again, he later on, he was the one, maybe he was the one that left town or whatever.
I think it was. Movie,
yeah.
At the end of the movie, he picks Arthur Lee Allen from all those pictures. So
yeah,
it all points to Arthur Lee Allen. But what's weird is the book, and this is one of the things that it's been a while since I've read the book, but Gray Smith presents all the evidence, in a really good way, but it's not really conclusive about Arthur Lee Allen. And it must have been later books or later discoveries that led him down the path that Arthur Lee Allen is the actual, or at least his favorite suspect. You know what I mean? The guy that fits the best. Because in the movie, it's very, very obvious that, Gray Smith thinks it's Arthur Lee Allen, but the book is a lot more, I don't know, like Rick Marshall is definitely in there a lot. There's just things that there's things that just don't work out, but
Do we
Anyway.
know what this guy was doing when everything stopped? Because for those who don't know, the Zodiac did stop.
Mhm.
But killers
And then Arthur
don't
Lee Allen
stop
goes to prison.
being killers. Narcissists don't stop being a narcissist. So something had to happen. Did you say he went to prison
Arthur Lee Allen went to prison and
during
then,
this time?
Mhm.
Which would make sense
Right.
on
And then-
why there was no activity.
And then there's this time period where they hadn't gotten any kind of correspondence or anything from Zodiac, and he gets out of prison, and all of a sudden there's a new Zodiac letter.
Because narcissists don't stop being a narcissist. He's
Yep.
like textbook definition. Yeah, he's looking good for it. They say
Yeah.
they solved the case like last month. I don't know if you saw this.
Well,
And it
but
was, I forget who they said it
the
was.
Case Breakers. Have you heard of them? It's this organization, and they're led by this crime reporter. And they say that they had an FBI informant that had evidence, like DNA evidence, to
Mhm.
prove that it was this Gary. What was his name? Gary Francis Post.
Yes.
But Post had already died in 2018.
So of course I'm like, I don't
Well,
know.
and this guy he was in the Air Force, but the thing is that the FBI is like, no, the case is still open.
Yeah, the FBI, they said it's open, unsolved, and they're not providing further comment at this time. So I don't think it's solved.
Did you see the code 340? That was they actually cracked the code in 2020, at the end of 2020. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Was that the Case Breakers that did that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It just says the hardest code to crack, known as code 340, was seemingly finally solved by cryptographers on December 5th, 2020, after some 51 years of fame as one of the most difficult ciphers. It was discovered, blah, 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 blah. But this is what the message reads. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show. So the Melvin Belli show, when a guy calls in.
Which they think was a mental patient at an institute.
He goes, that wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise, ICE. So he spelled paradise wrong. It will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy on in paradise death.
Huh.
It's like that last portion just doesn't make
so
a whole lot of
everyone
sense.
he's killed is his slaves in the
But
afterlife.
see, that right there, they say that he tried to like throw people off about how smart he was, spelling things incorrectly. So he was highly, highly intelligent.
Right.
Interesting.
And then what was it? That was another thing that was kind of like pointing to Arthur Lee Allen, is because he sent a Christmas card where it said Christ Mass.
Yeah.
With an extra S at the end. And he says that in one of his letters too. So it's like, how many people misspell Christmas with an extra S at the end?
Yeah. The same way with wasn't it like there was something with the circle or the cross or something too? Or was it just the S I'm thinking of?
I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, there was a lot of weird things like that where certain things matched like his handwriting, but then certain things didn't. And then that's when they were talking about what if he's ambidextrous. And
So,
because I mean, if you look at the writing, the writing of the ciphers is so much cleaner than the actual writing that came into the letters, through the regular letters too. So, I mean, it's a mystery, and that's what's so captivating about it,
It's sad that these people passed away before it actually got solved. Like the handwriting expert was already like 63.
Yeah.
In 1969 or something. So it's
will we ever know who really did? Is there any like DNA other than there's just like a partial
DNA
fingerprint and that's it?
And according to the Case Breakers, a partial DNA sample.
Huh.
But then the FBI said that was wrong.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. If it's an open investigation, they're not going to release stuff.
Yeah, that's true. They're not going to show their hand no matter what.
I have a theory though that it could be someone that is a veteran or that was a veteran.
I thought you were going to say FBI.
And maybe they had like a case of like post-traumatic stress, like after the war kind of thing. I don't know.
It is
Then
quite
why would he
significant,
stop though?
Maybe he had an episode. I don't know.
Nah.
It is really weird
I
though
don't
that
know.
She said on
supposedly
the police.
he has connections to people on the first two sets of victims.
Yes.
That is weird. Arthur
That's
Lee
a
Allen. I mean,
big coincidence.
yeah. And lived like a block away from where she worked. That's
That's the first rule of what they tell you to look for.
certain radius.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that part where Jake Gyllenhaal is in the house
Mm.
and he's in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you didn't make it to that.
I didn't
part.
make it that far. No.
And that actor, I always go blank on his name. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Where is he? Dang it. He's not.
When was this movie made?
2007
Oh,
is when
okay.
it came out.
Okay.
Charles, is it Charles Schneider? No, that's not right.
I'm horrible with names.
Charles Fleischer is his name. Bob Vaughn is the character's name. So he goes to this place because there's supposedly some posters, some evidence that may have that Rick Marshall worked at a theater and actually wrote some posters, drew some posters or whatever, and hand wrote some stuff on it, and he was going to check it. And they said, "Oh, well, this one fits." And he goes, "But I drew that poster." And that's what freaks Jake Gyllenhaal out. But Charles Fleischer, apparently, he's also the voice of Roger Rabbit, by the way. But
I love these fun facts that you know. You're on IMDb all the time or whatever, right?
Well, I am. I was really good. Have you ever heard of the Kevin Bacon game?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, where everything leads. Kevin Bacon leads to us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the goal was, you can pick any actor and try to get to Kevin Bacon within so many movies.
Yeah.
And I was always really, really good at that game because
he worked at Blockbuster too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's
so I have
awesome.
like this weird catalog in my head of cast lists from movies. And so I can go, okay, so Tom Cruise was in this movie with, whatever. And like, okay, well, spoiler alert, Tom Cruise is in A Few Good Men with Kevin Bacon. Anyway, I just have this weird database in my head.
I love
But
it.
Charles Fleischer is Roger Rabbit. But what I was going to say was that apparently Charles Fleischer and Jake Gyllenhaal have known each other like all of Jake Gyllenhaal's life. So he said it was kind of weird working against somebody that I've known my whole life, and be scared of him. You know? But
That had to be
I
hard.
just thought that was kind of neat too.
I love the little fun facts in the movies and trivia and
Yeah,
stuff.
because it's scary because like doesn't he go upstairs and Jake Gyllenhaal can like hear him walking and it's like intense like
Well, and he's like,
trying to get out of there.
They're both down in the basement and he hears somebody
that's
upstairs.
right. He hears a third person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a third person.
So like Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy are downstairs and then like looking for the posters and there's a guy upstairs.
Oh.
So they weren't alone in the house.
See, it's
And he
weird
thought
though,
they were.
because I think one of the coolest things about the movie outside of, the investigation's amazing. The way that they portray the murders is really, really well done and apparently really accurate. But it's like you were talking about Jake Gyllenhaal, his character, whether it's a psychosis thing or if it's just an obsession, because I've gotten obsessed about certain things like that. I get laser focused on things when I'm really, really into it. So it was like I saw a little bit of myself in that character in the way that it's like everything else started going to crap because I'm so focused, laser focused on this thing. And so it was kind of interesting to see it from that point of view. I love seeing his almost as a person, he's almost like declining as he's getting closer and closer to, because he's just everything is gone away for him and it's only this and he's got to figure this out. I don't know. Oh man, that movie's so good.
Yeah, right? Everybody needs to watch it. Yeah, he's very consumed in it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I love how the detective has a thing for animal crackers. Like it's not smoking or anything. It's like, do you got some animal crackers?
I wonder if that's a true
It's
thing.
so random.
I thought I read something about that it was kind of a joke because Mark Ruffalo is a vegetarian.
I love how they're at that one crime scene or whatever, and he's like, "Anybody got any animal crackers?"
and the thing is too, the guy that Bill Anderson, his partner at the beginning, that's Anthony Edwards, who was Goose in Top Gun,
and he was on ER.
Yeah, their relationship is so awesome. It's like if I ever write a script with police officers, I want Zodiac is going to be like my inspiration for that kind of feel. I want that kind of feel, that realism. You feel like they're real characters.
Yes.
You know, and that's just
the way when Anthony Edwards or Bill when he like leaves, he like they pull up in front of what is it, his apartment or hotel or whatever, and Toschi is driving, and then is it Bill Anderson, he gets out of the car and he's like, you take the car, and he's like, oh, you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm not coming back tomorrow. And then they're just like, okay, bye. And he's like, I'm not leaving you hanging, am I? And he's like, no. And they understood each other. They just got it.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it was just, it's just such a good movie.
It is.
Watch the movie. It's so good.
Watch the movie.
Watch it.
And we skipped over the fact that the murders were all in different jurisdictions. So it's like, it was that on purpose? It had to be on purpose. And that's,
I loved how the all the counties and such, and I'm sure that is, that those events like later on in procedures with police departments played a role in that, because
they had to communicate together.
Right. Just like with Holly Dunn, the railroad killer, like, if it wasn't for her evidence that was, connected into Texas, that like, so I like how they all work together and try to figure it out together.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that would be difficult. Like, how in the hell would you...
I like how the detective be like, I can't tell you anything because it's an open case, but maybe you could go to such and such.
Yes. Try blah, blah, blah county.
Like, just a little sprinkle to get you in your next spot.
And then Casey Jones was sitting there with the Zodiac.
Yeah.
Remember Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes.
The guy that played Casey Jones?
Yes.
He was one of those detectives.
Okay.
Elias Koteas.
Oh, I like that name.
That's a cool name. That's a very cool name.
Yeah. By the way, if you have Paramount Plus, you can watch Zodiac right now. You can stream it right now. Just saying.
That is an awesome thing to tell people. Yes. Yeah. I ended up buying
looking to see if it was on Netflix or something, but it is on Paramount Plus. I mean, of course, you can rent it or buy it or whatever, but if you want to stream it, there you go.
Or you could probably find it at a thrift store for really cheap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course, Blu-rays went out of print for a while and they were really, really expensive. I think I've bought it like 3 times. So
did you really? Yeah, you love it that much?
I really do.
I've just been buying all digital now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it. But
I got it for like $4.99 on Vudu. It was like on sale. Yeah, it was like on sale when I bought it, because they run like $4.99 weekend sales.
Oh, so there you go, $5.
I mean, I don't know if it's still on sale, but
yeah,
totally worth it. Yes, yes. Oh yeah,
I
like that.
I didn't know it looked just like the letter.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's cool.
But it's got so much stuff on it.
He's showing that the DVD box or Blu-ray box looks like one of the envelopes.
Yeah, one of the letters they send.
You can.
Oh,
that's so cool.
The stuff on the back.
I love it.
Look how
all those documentaries,
special
commentaries.
Features.
Oh, well done. Well done.
That's really cool.
So at least I have really that. Cool. I can't find the book, but I have the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the picture you always see for the movie is the one where it's got Mark Ruffalo and the Jake Gyllenhaal at the top, and then the car. Oh my gosh, we need to talk about that one scene with the woman and the baby.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to see that. I didn't.
But go ahead,
I know about it, but I didn't get to
Rob,
watch
you're
it.
better at telling these scenarios.
So yeah, and this was supposedly a thing that Arthur Lee Allen had told someone else that he was going to do, and then this lady gets basically pulled over by a guy, says, "Hey," she's driving alone at night, and a car's flashing her from behind, with the lights, right? And she pulls over, and the guy gets out and says, "Hey, your tire is loose. Do you want me to tighten it up for you?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course, thank you, I appreciate that." So what he does is he undoes the lug nuts on the tire. So then she takes off, and her tire falls off. And he said, "Oh man, it must have been it must have been really bad. I can take you to a service station or whatever." And she's like, "Okay." So she gets in the car with her child, her little baby. And the way that it's played in the movie is that he says something along the lines of, I'm gonna throw your baby out the window.
Yeah. And he says,
And
it's going to be more fun.
Yeah. And then it fades to black. And then you see a shot of her standing in the middle of the road, and a truck coming up to her, and she's like waving or whatever. And she went and hid. She basically took the kid, jumped out of the car, rolled, and then hid her baby because he was afraid. She was afraid that he was going to come back.
What a good mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's well, I guess the rumor is that she made that up, that didn't actually happen.
Oh.
So it's not evidence really. But here's another interesting, just kind of side note for the movie. I know I keep going back to the movie, but
no, we love it.
The woman who took the 911 call, right? Like the actual woman that took the 911 call, when he calls it goodbye, the way that he talks and all that, they played a bunch of different recordings to try to see, which one gets is the closest.
Oh, like to match it?
Yeah. And she actually picked the one of the actor that played Arthur Lee Allen.
No way.
John Carroll Lynch. She actually picked his performance.
That's so weird.
Which is kind of, and again, I don't know if that's true or not. All I know is that it makes for a really cool story.
It really does.
It does.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like all the stuff that I'm bringing up is stuff that could be completely made up. I mean, the internet is rife with falsities.
Yeah. I mean, this case is it's just like that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, people saying that Ted, what's his name? Ted Cruz? That he is the Zodiac. Like,
they did that because there was like a meme making fun of it. They don't like them in government. So they made a meme and compared it to the sketch. And then when they solved it, I'm doing air quotes, when they solved it, they're like, "Oh, it looks like he's still going to stay in government."
Ted Cruz.
It looks like the dude from The Office, Kevin.
Oh my God, I can see it. Yeah, I can see that. That's hilarious.
Oh, and that guy, the Carol guy that plays the Lee.
Oh, yeah.
It's like John Lithgow playing a scary dude. Like,
right.
Did you ever watch him in Dexter? Like how?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's played everything from, the goofy alien guy on that TV show, whatever show that was.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah. There you go. He plays that, and then he plays,
Harry and the Hendersons.
He played some really, really scary roles. What's the one I can't remember the name of the movie. It's with Denzel Washington. It's amazing. Where he played the bad guy in that, and he was like horrifying in that. So, and I think it's weird how I've always said this for years, that I think some of the best actors are people that can do comedy. If you can do comedy, you can do anything. Because comedy is difficult to pull off. So if you can do that, you can do anything. And I mean, Jim Carrey did that. Robin Williams did it. I mean, some of the, at least in my opinion, some of the most effective actors were comedians. And I think John Lithgow was.
I agree.
Jim Carrey, one of my favorite movies of his is Number 23, and that is not a comedy. That is a role that he normally, you don't see him in.
I've never watched that one.
Oh my God, you would love it. It's a psychological thriller for sure. It's good. Yeah. It's very, very good. I watched a TikTok about it was a podcast. They were talking about someone had said they believe their family member was the Zodiac killer. Like they have found like evidence pointing to that, but they never like named or told anybody that because they didn't want their family to be harassed. Have you heard anything like that? Okay.
Did they find a pair of those black glasses or something?
I don't know, but why did all serial killers have those stupid glasses back in the day? You know what glasses I'm talking about, too.
Oh, don't think we're horrible. I'm sorry.
They did, though. They all went shopping together, and they were like, these are the ones. This is what I'm going to wear when I murder people. You're laughing because it's true. It is true. Come on.
Do you think
you know
horrible?
That's the glasses that the Zodiac was wearing underneath his get up.
Again, how are you going to be dumb to wear your glasses?
He's got to see what he's doing.
But he wore it under the hood so that they wouldn't fall off when
I guess
stabbing.
so. True.
Yeah.
Maybe he had those things to keep it on the head too.
He didn't have contacts.
They hadn't invented those yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that true? I don't even know.
I have no idea. Now I want to know.
Maybe I'm going to guess the 70s sometime.
Well, that would definitely predate it because...
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Did you find it?
It's saying 1888.
What?
The first glass contact lenses for correcting vision problems back in 1888, but they were like heavy and they probably took out somebody's eyeball. I think they were invented though already. Maybe they were really expensive, like
Probably. Like how it was to buy a DVD player in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or a CD player.
Yeah. Or a cell phone when they first came out.
They were a suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe they were really uncomfortable.
It's probably a combination of both. There's probably really cost prohibitive and really uncomfortable and really, they just hadn't gotten to that point.
This suspect guy, this author guy, was he a cop or FBI?
No.
But it was he was in the military though, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but wasn't he discharged?
Yeah, because there was something mentally ill.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read the book, but yeah.
See, I keep
really
getting
goes into
his like background or whatever. I keep getting confused with this other guy, that Van Best guy, because I know that Van Best guy was in a mental hospital at some point.
How did did this dude die?
Yeah.
Which one?
Arthur Lee Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
no confessions on the deathbed, huh? Nope.
No. I like how when you pull up Zodiac Killer or Zodiac whatever, Google always gives you the picture of some guy. I don't even know who the guy is.
Is it the Gary guy?
The same guy, huh?
Is it the Gary guy that they are saying that it is?
Gary L. Stewart?
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it him?
I think so.
Look at the mouth though.
Air Force veterans partial DNA. Thomas. No.
The one with Ted Cruz popped up.
Show Rob.
Gary F. Posty.
Yes, that guy.
No, you can't tell.
Yeah, that's the one that the case breakers say that's who it is.
Is this the author guy?
Oh, the website. Oh my God. The website is so easy. Zodiackiller.com.
Oh wow.
Is the one where I was looking at with all the different, it's got the whole map of everything. And by the way, I was in San Francisco a while back but I was only there for about 22 hours. But I was telling the guy that, it was a business trip thing. When we went, I said, dude, we got to go to Cherry in Washington, because Cherry in Washington is where the cab was shot. The cabbie was shot.
Oh,
I wanted to go.
Did you?
I wanted to go there. We didn't have time.
Was that the one person?
Where the cab driver got shot.
Like the person that you went with, was it after the con?
Oh no. This was
somebody else.
Years. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact,
I was thinking it was
I used
Billy.
to do the podcast with back in the day.
Okay. I was thinking it was this past year.
Oh, no. This
Okay.
had to be 2010, something like that.
Okay. But you didn't get to go?
No, I didn't. Like I said, we were only in town for 22 hours, and we actually made it to San Francisco. And then, because what we were like, okay, our meeting's over, because we got late at night, got up in the morning, did our meeting, and then we had just a couple of hours before our plane took off, or before we had to be at the airport. So it was like let's go to San Francisco real quick. So we went to San Francisco, and we went and I got to see Alcatraz and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't have time to go.
You saw cool stuff though.
Yeah, but it was this big, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really get to do cool things in San Francisco, and that's one of the things I want to do. Is like, I want to do the whole trip. I want to see all the crime scenes just to be able to stand there.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it on Google Maps or Google Earth.
Yeah.
You know, where you can kind of stand on the corner there and just kind of look around, and it's like, that's cool. But
that is cool.
Yeah, it just, there's something about, for me, it obsessed me for, I don't know, on and off for like a year, because I was reading that book and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, you know? So the whole thing it's
intriguing.
Yeah. And it's just because part of it is just because it's not solved. There's no end, really. I like the postmark even has the date.
I do too.
Yeah.
Come on.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. That is so clever.
It's so cool. I love this.
It is so cool.
Anyway.
I would love to know what anybody thinks about the Zodiac stuff. You can comment on Facebook or whatever.
Share your theories.
I love theories. All theories. Well, I guess we'll just end it here since, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here? I mean, I don't even know. I am so glad that you came on, and now that we're best friends and Rachel's out, I mean, stink eye. I wish people could see it.
She loves that stink eye.
I know, I do.
She definitely got stink eye.
She does. But yeah, I'll have all your stuff linked in the show notes.
Okay.
And all the Zodiac sources linked, of course. And you guys can find the movie on your own. He told you where you can find it. So yeah, there's that. That's all we got for you. Until next time, goodbye.